So if I just take you on to Act itself now. So as I was just going through, we are able to customise the welcome page now. For what we're going to do is create an Xperience Group landing page where you can inquire directed support. You can inquire with the sales team. We'll have articles on there, blogs on there for you to read regards ACT and also the other services that we provide. So it'll be almost like a help portal within your ACT welcome page on here. So basically all it is, we can now embed a web page in there, so we can even do the live chat on there. So if you're within ACT, you can have a quick chat with one of our sales team if there's any questions you've got on regards ACT itself, making it a little bit easier to navigate. So the first area, it's easier to explain than it is to show. It's something we've been waiting for quite a long time. It's the complete overhaul of the Outlook integration. This is an area that most of you might know there was a problem because of the change in the Microsoft technology, going away from the TAPI technology. It was an area that Microsoft stopped developing and didn't actually make many other software providers aware that they were doing this, so people who relied on that integration weren't aware. Hence it did cause problems for the likes of ACT. This has now been completely overhauled. Along with that overhaul, we can now integrate directly with Office 365 and Exchange itself, rather than integrate with Outlook. So this mainly relates to the ability to synchronize your calendar. So this will be now done directly with 365 and Exchange, so you don't have to rely on the integration with the Outlook locally. So just to kind of give you an idea of where that is slightly different, so if we go into our tools, synchronize with Outlook, this is where we get additional options to be able to integrate. So now instead of just with Outlook, as were the old days, we can now choose Office 365 or Exchange directly. That's meaning it's actually working in the background rather than being reliant on being installed locally on your machine. Along with that, in an area we can't really show is the overall of the actual email integration itself. So this has now changed. It is working on newer technology, and it also means we'll be able to develop this going forward. So there'll be additional integration options. So I know one of the things that is being looked at is the ability to save received emails straight away rather than having to manually attach them into the database. So we'll start to build on that going forward. The next, with regards to the Outlook integration as well, if there are any questions you have a bit more specific or relating to your own system, do let me know either at the end or contact your account manager and we can go into a bit more detail. I will also touch on the compatibility as well, so there have been some slight changes with regards to Outlook moving forward. Going out of that. So the next area that we're going to look at was quite a big, well, the biggest part of version 20.1. Some of you might have come across it, is the Premium Plus aspect. So basically what the Premium Plus gives you as part of 20.1 is the ability to create custom tables within the ACT database. So when I first heard that, I wasn't overly sure what that actually meant either. But basically what a table is and the way ACT works in the background, each even field is made up of an individual table. So these are basic tables within the software. So what we can do now is create additional tables to produce additional modules. So you can see down here, some of you might have seen down here, we can now create additional modules. So in the past it was very much restricted to your contacts, your opportunity history. These were standard modules within ACT, standard tables. So now we can create additional, so these are examples that come out of the box with 20.1. So we've got insurance, project planning, we can even do support contracts and cases. The idea being is, it's more going to work for how you want to rather than shoehorning your business into ACT. So we've already done a lot of work where people have been managing Excel documents, for example, outside of ACT, and the only reason they were doing that was because ACT couldn't handle the way that those documents worked and stored information. So a lot of people in the past have been shoehorning, say, tickets or cases into opportunities, and it's obviously not worked ideally. So what we can do now is actually create those cases against individual contacts. So if I do a case, what you can actually see here, if I create a new case, is bringing up a new tables area within the system. So this is just an example that we've created. Bear in mind these would all be created for yourselves. So case description, so it could be broken PC, as simple as that. You've got drop-down boxes within here, so you can have a status open however you want to manage it in process, so that can be put in there. Ticket owner, this could be a user within the database, linking back into there. And what we can also do is link these to other areas of the system. So, and this is kind of going off similar way to how we work here. So all our clients would have a support contract, a subscription in place. So when a ticket is actually logged, we can see it's related to that particular support contract. So here I can then choose and link to the contacts at the moment. This is not a great example, there's no contract in there, but you can see it's linking to the parent table. So I would be able to say, when I log that case, it's against that support contract, and I can put all the information about that in there that I need. Keep an open mind, because this is more showing an example of how it would work going forward. So anything, however ridiculous you think it might be, do contact us and just check if that's something you can do. Because we have been building quite a lot of these recently that people would not expect could be done. Similar to your within Act itself, you do have the management of the create date, the record creator, and obviously quite a big thing with GDPR coming up. You can see who edited this, when it was edited, who last managed anything with regards to this record itself. That's something we'll go into a bit more detail. If I actually create a support contract against Andy Harrison, I can then track that throughout the year. So this is where I can show tables within the table. So if we call this contract name, service, that's all I can put against it. You can set anything up here. These are templates out of the box that Act have provided. And what we can even do there is see a list of the cases that are against that actual support contract. So this is a good example from ourselves here as well. We provide the Total Care, Act, Sage support. They are all going to have different contracts, so we can then log cases against those particular contracts to see where people are using them, where people are not, where we can offer additional help. Again, just an example of how that works. Another area, as an example, is actually project planning. So you can actually, not in this example here, so in project planning, you can manage projects within a database as well. So this was something, again, that was managed kind of manually in opportunities, but it just gives you an idea of what you can do. Also, insurance. So again, really basic example of what we can do. Starting to see where Act could be taken. The best example, like I said, would be to look at Excel files potentially using or access databases that you think could be potentially better managed within a central database like Act. The next area I can show is something that most people aren't that aware of yet. There is now a native mobile app available within Act called Act Companion. Bear with me on this because this is just a mobile emulator we've got. So I've got my mobile next to me. Let me just find. There we go. So this mobile app is part of the latest version of Act. Where the developments have come is you're actually able to view your opportunities on here now as well. If you had any activities set up on here, any reminders, any meetings, they would come through as a push notification as well. So you get a reminder on your phone even when you're not in the app, and you'll be able to see a list of notifications. So if anyone's out of the office, you've got that list of what you're meant to be doing or when it's coming up, and put a reminder on there. Likewise, you can also view your histories, what you've actually done today, in a given time period. So I haven't done very much on here today, but you can see the two fields changed to view when you're out on the road. You do need to have mobile signal to view this, but like I say, it is included. If I just go back to the contacts, so you get a list of all your contacts, and this is what you'd be able to view. If we were going to a meeting, so if I went on to Charlie, I'd be able to go onto that record. I could call them, email them if you had your email integration set up on your phone. If I go to details, get all their contact information, click on their address, I would then also be able to navigate that in my maps. So it would use your native map integration. So if you had an iPhone, it would be the maps built with Apple, likewise with Android. What we also have on here as well is your opportunities. So this is something that has been added very recently. There was a couple of questions popped up. I think they were from Phil. I will address them shortly when I've done this. So if I then click onto the opportunity, if I want to only see a snapshot of the information, I can jump on here, see the opportunity value, the sales stage it's at, and if I needed to, I could go in and view the further details. So you can then say open close one, so it's catching all your basic information from the app. PC up a little bit. Bear with me on this mobile. But what we can also do is create new opportunities, and you can actually edit them as well. So if I go back into the opportunities themselves, if I wanted to go into this one, actually change something, so it could be an additional product. I'll close one, however you want to manage that. I could then add products within here. So if I had another Tech One system, add the products. That's added them in, and they could have actually gone ahead with that, so that's now closed one. Save that back into the database. Even if you need to, you could then address that back when you're in the office. But the idea is it's just giving you access when you're on the road to vital information that you might need. The questions from Phil. Previous on-site demo event mentioned event management coming up in version 20.1. Regards to event management, that kind of is a good question because it links back to the areas that we could actually cover within using. Go back into here itself. So the event management could be an area that we set up in here. So that's quite a good example, Phil. So we could produce a new module for event management, because then within that you can link it back to a contact, you can link it to multiple contacts, you can add contacts to it, you can link it to companies, groups, opportunities. So again, that's a good example of where ideally your account manager will speak to you and just find out a bit more detail about exactly how you want to manage that, because obviously event management is going to be all different as well. So we can, certainly have a look at that for you. And also, will the app only work with the cloud version of Act? No, it will work with the on-premise version as long as you're on version 20.1 to get the latest app update. The app works through using Act Connect. So once Act Connect is set up, and we can assist you with that, that's where the app is available. The next area I was going to touch on was Act Insights. So it's an additional reporting area within Act, a bit more visual than the old list reports. Again, just an example we've got set up in here of the different types of reports that we can do. You can export these as well. You can create your own views, and you can create your own charts within there as well. So we can have a look at customer interactions to see even marketing effectiveness, so it links back to your e-marketing, even the individual activities by sales reps, so you can actually see those activities, view the list of them. There are quite a few you can set up on here. You can choose what time of year it starts. When you actually add a view, you can You create a chart within that test. You can see you can do it based on contact activity histories, and then within there you can use the fields that are available. Choose what chart type it is. So you can do a little pie chart if you want, column chart, or a bar chart. So it's just an area that's in development and will be constantly improved. And a lot of this is also done based on what people want. So with the development, they can only add what they think people want. So any suggestions that you have around that are always welcome as well. That is a whistle-stop tour of the latest version, version 20.1. Just going over a few of those features. Any questions you have that are a bit more in detail regards the version release, please let myself know or the account managers. Final area we're going to touch on with just the compatibility. With regards to version 20.1 specifically, there is no integration available with Office 2010 anymore. That is the biggest change. Where there have been improvements, there are additional compatibility improvements with Office 365 moving forward. I know in the past we have mentioned Acts were a little bit slow to catch up with the compatibility. Going forward, that won't be the case, and we can offer you advice on that as well. The next area, which is I assume is going to be quite a big and popular area, will be Act and GDPR. We have had a lot of questions regarding how Act is managing GDPR and where Act can help. Firstly, we do now have a document that has been produced by SwiftPage, the vendor of Act, regards help and advice around Act and GDPR and what you can do to help that moving forward. A lot of the advice is relatively basic, and it's more helping you get your own database in order. Things like how to manage the history lists, looking at older histories, older contacts that haven't been contacted in a certain period of time, building groups based on that, being able to delete that information. But that is a document we can now circulate, so we can send that around. But also, if and how much you've looked into your GDPR, please do contact ourselves, because there's a lot of advice we can give on how I can manage it. If it's something as simple as adding a field or deleting some data or showing where that came from, it's something we can help with. Where we can help, and it's something we've been advising a lot of clients already, and some of you might have seen this already, is the particular area of being able to manage consent within GDPR. So it was a bit of a grey area to start with. We are now able to offer an add-in. It's called Opt-in Manager. So it basically allows you to send emails to as many of your contacts in your database as you want, allowing them to double opt-in. So it's quite a big aspect of GDPR, the double opt-in. This particularly relates to contacts you potentially haven't spoken to in a while, or that were prospects, so people who haven't done business with you, especially recently. So what this allows you to do is send a generic email. So when I actually say send emails, what this allows me to do is produce just a standard email to say, explain our new policy, basically say, can you sign in, or can you click here to continue receiving our information, if you would like to continue. However you want to word it, that can be set up in here. So at the moment it's just the email preview using my name, so we're using please, using following link to confirm or deny email communication. What this link also does then is takes us to a landing page that gives the user the option to opt in or opt out, so hence giving the double opt-in. First opt-in would be clicking it, please click here to accept or deny. The second aspect would be saying, please click here. You can even have further information regarding your security terms or your GDPR, or however you want to word it, on the second page as well. So, and then what that will do is when we send that email, it will then populate the email permission field to say that we have received permission to continue marketing to them. And it will say email permission, yes. And what it will also do in our history is record the fact that that email was sent, but it will also record how they consented to it. So let's say reply to the email, double clicked on here on this date. So you've got all that reference to say how they consented, when they consented, and who consented to it. So if it's part of the company, you'll have all that information in there. Couple of questions while we're on that. I will just take them quickly now, save coming back. From Fran, is it available on Act version 19? I believe so, we'll just double check. But I believe it is compatible back to version 18. So I will get your account manager to confirm that. Bill, does it still have a 500 contact limit? No, it doesn't have a 500 contact limit. The email is actually going through your own mail servers, so it's as much as your limit is on there without the spam limit. And Alexa, yes, we can use e-marketing. That was the next area I was going to go on to. The reason we are suggesting opt-in manager, this is an already built software to allow for opt-in management. This came about from one of our partners who had to produce a similar legislation for the Canadian market back in 2014 when they had data protection changes. This has just been edited or updated for GDPR, hence why we suggest this. It's only £200 per user per year per database, so it's a relatively cheap, quick to install and easy to manage product. Unfortunately, it's not available for cloud customers, so that was where I was coming on to next. There is a way around this that we can work using Act e-marketing. So through using Act e-marketing, you are able to embed forms that we can show you how to do within an email that you send. So an example, I think we've touched on it in previous WebEx, is using Wufoo. It's a contact form manager. So what we can do is when we send an Act e-marketing email, we can have a Wufoo form embedded in there, but also it can take you to a Wufoo landing page. So working in the same way as the opt-in manager, you can double opt-in doing that. So yes, that is possible. And we can offer training sessions on actually how to do that as well. And also that is advice that's offered within the GDPR document that is produced by SwiftPage. I can show you that. 19 pages long, so I'm not going to sit here and go through it, but this is just showing you we do now have a document that we can send out. A lot of it is explaining more what is GDPR, and then we've got GDPR and Act and the advice that can be offered around that. So that will be distributed by your account managers. There was another question. Just about to touch on that area, Chris has asked if, regards to the website link, so just going back to a contact record, opt-in manager. When you actually go into your opt-in manager settings, generate unique link. If I click on there, please click here to accept or deny. This is the opt-in page. So when you're on here, you basically go into your opt-in manager account. You'll be able to literally, it'll be a landing page looking like this. You'll be able to say, put a statement, and there'll be two buttons, opt-in or opt-out. On the back of that, that would then populate the email permissions field. The Opt-in manager is sent to a specific group. So when I actually say send emails, I can choose who I send that to. When I say send emails, at the moment, current contact or current contact lookup. So if we run a current group or a current lookup, we can do it to there, or we can do it to all contacts. So you choose who you send that to as well. This is installed on the local machine, hence why it can't be used for the cloud clients. Regards the opt-in manager, if there are any more questions in a bit more detail, we can address them at the end. Because there's a couple of questions regarding the e-marketing that I can answer at the end as well. Like I said, regards GDPR, any questions, do contact your account manager, because often it's a lot more simple than people are looking into it. So if it's a case of just recording it as a field, showing you how to delete your history, there is a bit more around that we can manage for you. Regards people on Active Premium Cloud as well, within the next couple of weeks we will have some further information regards our hosting as well. So we'll be producing a proper statement to back up GDPR. The final area I was going to touch on, not take too much time, like I said, it was just going to be an informal whistle-stop tour of some of the areas that we've now got. This is kind of linking back to GDPR as well and keeping your information up to date. So we actually now have a cost-effective little add-on allowing postcode lookup. So if I do an empty address, so if I just say I want to update that postcode, if I just use our postcode here, PE2 6QR, what this is doing is linking to a postcode database, online postcode database called ePostcode, which you basically buy tokens for. Again, it's very cheap, and it links back into that automatically. If I say search, so there we are. So if I say yes, that's the address I want in here. If I accept that, that's now going to populate all the fields that I've asked it to. So we've got Churchill House, Isis Way, Peterborough. Without having to mess about, go on the internet, copy and paste, look for that. Populated that information quickly and easy for us. What we can also do as well, from a point of keeping data up to date, we can show you how to produce groups based on contacts that don't have a postcode. So I think I did already set this one up. Postcode. Empty postcode data. So I can see now I've got a list of contacts that have no information. It would literally be a case of, if you needed to update this and you had their postcode, you could just say, go in there, start populating that information. So I can start to populate that information, whereas in the past it would have taken a lot longer. Particularly good for companies who've got high inquiries, needing to populate the data and save some time. So it's just a nice little add-on that we've created just to show you that. And that works out as for the on-premise users, it's only £50 per user per year. So it's a very cost-effective, easy to use little add-on. Covered a few questions as we've gone through. Was there anything a bit more in-depth or technical that I hadn't covered? We can certainly look at that now, or potentially with one of the account managers. There will be a recording available as well for any areas that you might have missed or didn't go through enough detail of. Doesn't look like it. Oh no, there is one. What version of Exchange is supported? Phil's asked, what version of Exchange is supported for the integration? I will get your account manager to send that details across. If anyone else got that question as well, it will be on the updated system requirements that I just don't have to hand at the moment. Chris Fowler, the recording. The recording will be sent out to anyone who registered. So all of you guys on the call will get the recording. If you don't, just ask your account manager, and they'll have the recording as well. I believe that is everything at the moment. Like I said, any just send them to your account manager or to myself, and we can get back to you. If anyone needs a bit more of an in-depth demonstration, a bit more bespoke to themselves as well, just let us know. We can do it. So anything like the tables or GDPR, anything you need, business specific, let me know, and we can arrange that for you. But I think that is everyone. Thank you.